Welcome everybody to Onward VRML Saturday Night Fights. We are in for a bit of a treat here. We have Talladega Knights, a brand new team, never played with VRML before based on the team roster, but at that they do have a full 8 count available, and we are waiting on them to pop in the lobby still. They are just 1 or 2 minutes behind, it seems. And then Excommunicado is no stranger to VRML, as we all know. They've been around, I believe, since Season 11, and are excellent cappers. And tonight looks like we have 4 people in so far, with Zero Cool, Stranger Man, Ghoul, and Seabass. So we're waiting on one from their side, and I'm seeing the Talladega Knights piling in now as well. So we should be starting off here in just a minute or two, and we're starting off on Bazaar. So this is going to be, I think it's going to be a good map for some action here. We are going to be starting off in the northwest, so plenty of capping spots, as we all know. If you are new to how we do things with VRML, it is a best of 3 maps, so you have to have 2 to win the series. And the third map must be played because of the point calculations for rounds 1. And it is a race to 4, with, if you cap on a third round 1, you will get 5 points allocated. So those capping points are really, really beneficial to getting ahead of the rest of the competition. The objective of the game is to punch in a 7-digit code in a satellite uplink, as it's called, with the defense sitting around it and protecting it as best as they can, with the Marsoc side, the attacking side, have to actually get in and kind of sneak past the enemy team or kill them all to get 1 point. And then if you do actually happen to sneak past them and get the 7-digit code in, you get the additional points, making it 2. Not as easy as it sounds, especially since it's 7 digits. It takes a little bit of memorization practice. So we're in for some good action tonight, I think, with the experience on Excommunicado and a brand new unexpected team for Talladega Knights. Just because they're brand new does not mean they get counted out, because we have seen some great plays from new teams in the last couple of weeks, because we are only in week 3 right now for the season. So we should be starting up here in a minute. We have 4 of 4 right now, 4 or 5 on each side. Let's get into the bands. So we're limiting all long-range potential except for 1 map. Bandon is still on the table. Downfall was Talladega Knights ban, and Snow Peak was Excommunicado's. So neither of these teams really like the idea of long-range maps to begin with. So with that, we should see, as we are seeing here with Bazaar, we should see some medium and short-range maps. Maybe a Suburbia from Excommunicado, as they do like playing that quite well, especially with the amount of utility they use. Maybe a Cargo, but if I remember correctly, Excommunicado so far for this season has lost 1 game on Cargo, and I think they only played it 1 time. Let me just do a quick stats check here to confirm what the rest of those were. Anywho, I think we're in for some good action tonight. And while I have the menu up, let's hop into, if I get this right. I have not done this yet before. We're going to see if I get this right. We're going to get into a poll for predictions here. So cast your vote there for map 1 winner. Between Excommunicado and Talladega Knights. It's kind of a little skewed, I think, in my opinion, just because of the fact that Talladega Knights hasn't actually played any VRML games yet. This is their very first one. So we want to give them a good warm welcome and get them spotlighted here especially because of how new to the VRML they are. But at the same time, let's get some votes out. And Excommunicado with their previous. They played Bazaar 3 times and won twice. Suburbia twice and won at once. Subway twice and won at once as well. So they're sitting 3 matches so far with 2 wins. So they're at a 67% win rate. Good season start. And we finally have everybody in. So they're doing their last minute plannings here. We should be starting momentarily. Poll is wrapping up here, but it looks like nobody's voted so far. We have maybe 30 seconds left, so cast those votes in real quick. I know it's a bit early, but we do have some people in waiting for this to start. Shout out to Bob the Gamer, Jamshi, Nyquin, Santa Claus Gift, Slater, Spine VR, Steven Jam, James Tim, sorry, Turbo, F20, Xandria VR, and looks like we're set there. Thanks for popping in early. While we are waiting, shout out to the sponsors. They are on the top right of the screen, my left, your right, because of the mirroring. ProTube VR, Downpour Interactive, of course. VRML does contribute here as well to the prize pool, and VR cover. VR covers are super comfy, by the way. I've had one for probably a year now, and it is just fantastic to play with. Well, we are here. Let's get going into round 1.
So make sure the other team can't put my bullets.
Oh, damn! I love that. That's fucking awesome.
Looks like Marsoc got the south, the eastern spawn here with the tank, and they are running right on into the market with Sean X and Justilk running right through here. Sean is going to be heard by Ghoul real quick here.
Someone in that, there's someone in the dark room.
Good job, Paula.
There's someone in the little cut right here.
Callouts coming out from both sides, and Zero with the window peek does get Sean, and Justilk is gonna go around, it seems, here. Looking for Zero, not gonna see him from this angle. Ghoul's gonna go up top and try to at least confront Rage and Alpha Docs at the same time. There, flashbang out from Zero. Cool. I don't think that connected. That looked like it landed on the top, and they were inside the building. But we are kind of in a little bit of a stalemate at the moment here. A bit of a pause as Talladega Knights figures out what they want to do for this approach. Let's get those lasers up, by the way. Looking for Rage there. Grabs one. Right around the corner from each other. Shots out, and Hooligan goes down as well.
That's at least 3 down.
Accurate call out for kills, so...
Marsoc.
Looks like they're going to swing around entirely in a different approach with Seabass right around the corner. and
One guy
barely
shot
misses. Flashbang out is going to land right next to Seabass, and the PKM flare through the flashbang was well timed there. So that wears off. Elpidox is kind of questioning how they're going to approach this, and with a peek, go right on down. And Excommunicado kicking it off with the first point. So, let me take a quick drink here first. How Talladega Nights had approached that seemed a little rushed. Running directly from the front of the market and approaching in from the same direction until they really encountered resistance in this courtyard. Obviously didn't work too well. They did get stalled up, which at least they held back instead of fully charging in and dying in a smaller space. But what likely needed to happen there was split. You're not gonna be able to see this on the mini-map, but if you split at least around from a southern position to at least kind of see the road and the shops a little bit to ensure that these front windows or doorways are cleared, and then maybe take a little bit slower and quieter to peek through the windows of the East Market. You get maybe a little bit more of a glimpse, but you're also going into a highly contested area, so you have to kind of plan for what that looks like when things start going south. The north push at the end might have been a bit late as well, because after losing 3 to the south on the marketplace there, I'm sorry, the courtyard, it was a right choice, but it should have been done earlier, likely to at least divide the attention of Excommunicado with all the angles they were playing.
Cool.
Round number 2. Let's see how. See a quick glimpse here of a 4-1 split. Oh, one's doubling back. So it's going to be a 3-2 split. We're going to see them in a little bit here as they do come in on the uplink. So far, it seems like a pretty good setup from the Volk side, with a couple different angles being held on the marketplace and in the north. Hooligans, it's a bit exposed here because of the amount of area they have to really watch from their left, but they do have Just Still kind of holding the angle, so if they trust them well enough for a shot, that's good. But this peek there was a little bit dangerous. First shots out are from Rage as they encounter Excommunicado all the way down in the southwestern side of the map. And here's all of that smoke that we were talking about earlier. Looking to get them as close to the uplink as they can. And Yuri takes out Hooligan right in the center. Doesn't really open up any angles just yet, but with all the smoke now there, gives Zero Cool and Ghoul great coverage in here. Awesome flashbang to slow this approach down, but Stranger Man is directly on the uplink with Elphidox behind. Is he going to see this in time? No, they do not. Stranger Man gets the cap in maybe about 5 seconds there. And this is what we were talking about earlier with Excommunicado and the level of experience they have with capping. They are very excellent cappers, so we are going to be seeing that kind of an action here tonight. In Talladega Nights, while they had coverage from different angles, didn't cover the approach in just enough from the middle point. Hooligan dying did open that up, which we had other people around to at least kind of provide that cover coming in from the north and the south on those markets, but Stranger Man was able to slip right on through and get by everybody and into that one little crevice for capping. With Talladega Nights, since we haven't seen them before, I don't know what they know for capping spots, but that's something they're going to have to review and learn this later on, as they do kind of take on more maps or more matches and challenges in the VRML tiers. You're going to see those map knowledge and game knowledge points coming out. But there's a learning experience for everybody. Typically, those who rewatch the streams, they do learn for the better and get some good information, so that way they can kind of improve as a team. And it doesn't matter who you are ultimately, or what team you're on. Just getting that level of information is great. Now, we are in the southeast now. Looks like we are going to see the pre-fire coming out here in a second.
Just a little bit of love.
The other way.
Yeah, now watch this.
Just a handful of rounds, nothing too crazy. Didn't connect with anybody, it seems. Let's fly on over to the other side.
I completely forgot about that. You guys talking
Zero bringing out the rounds.
-1. He may be just down.
It's good calling out. Good call out for the kill. Wasn't sure if they were actually down or dead though. Rage looking for anybody pushing up aggressively. Not going to see anything just yet here. They are still relatively in spawn and out of at least the pre-fire zones now. But with a 4v5 and on a hard uplink to run into, they're going to have to really plan this out well and adjust for Zero Cool, who is pushing up, looking for Sean X, and a trade out. Does eliminate Zero Cool for the south, opening up that alley. Really gonna be able to push in and get the cover down all the way through. Stranger Man on a late angle. Pretty common spot. Not seeing anything too crazy for Excommunicado just yet, but we are still at a 3v4 with Rage running right on in. Stranger Man does get that pick off through the window. An excellent little grab they had there. But this push not being timed, it's a little it's gonna hurt a little bit. We do have Just Ilk going all the way around in the northeast blue room. Looking for sea bass, I guess, all the way in the back here. Are they gonna get the pick?
Got one in blue room.
Fallout was there, but Just Ilk is gonna run all the way around there now. With Alphadox looking for really anything they can to find sea bass. Maybe if they continue to push around, but that would be a good distractionary spot. Ghoul barely missing the hit. Ultimately getting the faster pick on that. We are in a 1v4 with Just Ilk having 2 minutes 20 seconds remaining. Going all the way around in sea bass. Running right in on sea bass, not expecting this. And Excommunicado wraps this up with a 4-0. Really, it just came down to map knowledge, I think, for this particular one. Let's see where we're gonna go to next. Checking the chat here. Vadum, I am in the normal resolution here, so check your device settings. Make sure you're actually in, make sure you're actually selecting the highest quality. And we are heading into Cardo. Nice close quarters map for Excommunicado to assert some aggression on, as they have done in the past. And we're starting off in the pipes for uplink. So Talladega Knights are really going to have to hold down a solid defense to make this a map 3 decider, and at least get a few points on the board. It's going to be a little rough for them mentally going into this now that it's been a 4-0, especially with a cap that wasn't expected there. But they're going to have to really buckle down, get their mentality back, say it's a fresh new map, we're going to let everything that just happened in Bazaar go and do the best we can for this. They're going to have to hold some tight defense and not peek as much, but when the smokes do ring out, that's when they're going to have to start raining bullets in on the uplink, because as they've seen already, Stranger Man is capable of capping in 5 seconds, but I know Zero Cool and Wicked NJ, who is not playing currently, they were racing in one match in Season 12. But they literally just charged right in and they were typing the code at the same time, trying to screw each other up. Which, entertaining, but Talladega Knights is going to have to watch this as they go into Cardo.
What's up, gang?
Some shaky too.
Hey, where's my little mic at? Where's my mic at?
What do y'all? Oh, you can. I hate this game.
K36, some AK-12s.
I swear to God, I am.
We did win.
Early pre-fire out coming from Yuri. Not too much in the bullet spray, but just enough to get their heads down if anybody's coming over that way. It looks like we're going to have Rage and Hooligans trying to hold that angle off. Stranger is already tapping! Stranger Man is already tapping! What is going on? They're trying to see it, but they can't get the code in. This is the super long cap for them, but Elphadox gets it just barely too late. 4 minutes, 28 seconds remaining. Elphadox just barely missing that timing. And Excommunicado is gonna kick it off with 2 points on the board. What a round to start off with already. Yuri just giving some pre-fire out off to distract people. It was Rage and Hooligans off in the northwest building. And just kind of just figure out what to really do with it. And well, there was a couple over on the green barrels and the yellow room. Just ultimately didn't ring the bullets out to defend it. That was a critical moment that while Stranger Man had such a long capping time on it, which is abnormal. We just saw them do it in 5 seconds, so we know they can do it. There wasn't smoke on it before, but it does change a little bit of the dynamics there. Laying down, especially looking at the tablet through smoke, is a little bit different than crouching and doing it. But that was a critical moment.
Where's my
Let's
place?
go.
Gotta get back to center carpet.
Excommunicado, I'm expecting a tight defense on here. Stranger Man holding a late angle for the cross. Yuri holding the opposite angle. Ghoul running right on up to the red crate, looking for a peek. Does see Hooligan, sees to let let it go just for briefly, getting the call out. And top it over the other side. Just Ilk and Shawnex are challenging Yuri. Takes out Rage also in lane 1 there. with Just Look. I thought they were going to push out a little bit. Turns out it's going to be Sean. Gets the flashbang up, but that smoke out there, not going to cut it for this particular throw. Stranger Man is looking out for the late angle. Yuri's just going to pre-fire, get some rounds off on Just Look to kind of crush it. They need to have smoke on this now in order to really kind of capitalize on the fact that they had 2 people pushed up there. Down goes Elphadox also in the middle. Really just leaving Sean X, who's likely already been called out because of the rounds there. Going in on Stranger Man. Yuri does get taken out, which does open up a little bit of the crossfire lane, but Zero Cool's going to cover down on that and take it out in the end. Sean X really just holding here.
Zero, can I push up?
I just flash pushed.
Theme calling out for the flash. And great choice there. Sean X is just going to get passed right on by of how still they're holding. Surprise on Ghoul. Despite Just Ilk being taken out right there, it is a 1v3. Sean has done a good job of getting at least a couple out here. With Stranger Man dialing in exactly where they were with the bow. It's a different kind of a gun to see on this. And that gives Excommunicado 3 points. Uh-oh. I give Talladega 2. I gave home the capping points. Let me correct that here. Excommunicado 3, Talladega Knights 0. There we go. Corrected the scoreboard for you. Welcome first-time chatters and viewers. Love to see some new folks coming out and checking out some Onward action here with VRML. In for a good match tonight with capping, as Excommunicado does have that strength here. But Talladega Knights, they're holding as best as they can and putting a couple kills on the board. But they're really going to need to hold this defense down, especially being in now the diamond. Lots of smokes coming right off the bat. Not even out of spawn. Elphadox does get C-back down, making this a 4v5. Stranger Man is back on uplink with Zero Cool to back him up. Another tablet out situation. Both are racing again. What is going on? And Excommunicado wraps up the match with a 5-0. We do go into map 3 just for the MMR, but they did just win this in less than 30 minutes. We are 27 minutes from the match start time, and I think we were 1 or 2 minutes over from the start time to get everybody in. So this may be, unfortunately, Talladega Knights a record timing for the season already in week 3. Just double check. Yeah, okay. Wanted to get the sides correct. And for Talladega Knights, this is their very first VRML match. So they have to get their 3 matches done to at least get their ranking structure for MMR. So that way they get some teams in on their own skill level and their brackets. So it's going to be rough for a couple of games here, as you can get paired up against just about anybody, starting off in the first 3 or 4 weeks. But it will even out for them. They will get some more teams to play against with these learning points that are going to be coming out from this cast. So we'll have to check back in on them later on in the season. We do have 12 more weeks to go for the season, so there's plenty of time for them to come back up, get their thoughts together, their strats together, and really get some more team practice in. So we are now on Suburbia. Let me throw that up here, and we're starting out in the burning building with Excommunicado on Marsoc. This is where I saw them in season 12 go all out and race the very first time when I had cast them. So we may see another instance of that here. Hopping back on in. Round number 1.
I got you. Hey, bro. I got you. Go back. I got you.
Oh, I got the teams backers.
Wait,
Let me fix that.
And like, don't kill him. Said we.
Yeah, we're just out. We're just out.
This is why we check scores and names. Barrel Free Fire out right now, as expected from Excommunicado, with some aggressive pushes here coming out on lane 1. It looks like it is Ghoul on lane 2, just kind of getting some headless cleared out, with the rest of Talladega Knights pushing in on 2 and 1. Ghoul's going to round the corner, not see anybody just yet, pushing up though. Gets one through the Hesco. Hooligan coming out there.
-2.
Shonex in the middle house, getting somebody charging through the back. Quickly do a quick death check there. Excommunicado is surprisingly down to 2 before. Stranger Man doing the defense on the uplink. Hooligans gets zero cool. It is going to be a 1v3 now after that down. Zero cool is giving these callouts here. Get in the.
He's
Looks like
revived.
Sean.
Gotta get
Yep,
shot.
Sean
He's
and
revived.
Rage getting called out there.
There's room to
With
come.
Alphadox running right on the corner, looking for where Stranger Man is. Stepping around the corner, does get them in. They get a point on the board. Talladega Knights getting the first point of the game and on the board. Let's change this momentum around for Talladega Knights. They are now on defense and able to hold this. Excellently played round there. While a little bit disjointed on the pushes, they at least held in on lanes 2 and 1 to kind of clear that section out, and then 1 did wrap around on Playground, which was Alphadox, getting that final kill. So, not a bad round for them ultimately. So, Talladega Knights does have it in them to at least knock Excommunicado down and get this going. And doing a quick chat check here. Welcome in everybody else who's joined in. Wicked, I know you're not playing tonight. I know you weren't feeling too well. Hope you get better here real soon. Swammy, always great seeing you. Nomad, 404 Goose. Welcome all in. Welcome to a brand new team for Talladega Knights. So what they're gonna have to really do is hunker down on this uplink and really, really watch this this approach in on Playground. Playground is deadly when you've got Excommunicado as your opponent.
Rage.
Yo, Rage is behind you or something, bro?
Rage is moment the night vision for no reason, bro.
What do you? This guy reaching.
Rage is moment the night vision when it's a date.
Watch out, don't go down. Hold on.
Looks like we had a smoke launcher brought here. Smoke launchers are great ways to get long durations of smoke out. But here comes the rest of the team pushing in on 4 with a single flanker all the way around here. It's Seabass, and they're looking for Alpha Docs. Make sure we don't lose the uplink here. We don't want to miss any of the action on this side. Ghoul and Zero. Zero is tablet out real quick. Oh no! The Stranger Man, there was no T-Tag. There was no T-Tag. Rage just happened to get Stranger Man at the same time when the bird coming around. Zero Cool is tablet out. Rage is looking for anything there. The smoke does not. What is going on? Zero Cool still is tablet out with Rage right there and Sean X. I think there must have been some sort of confusion as to what was happening. And Talladega Knights are gonna get one more on the board for the defense. I didn't keep track of the flanker on lane 1. But good idea from Excommunicado. But they also did have Talladega Knights did have a defender there to at least potentially mitigate that, as I think it was Seabass all the way in the corner there. So that was a good play for Talladega to put somebody over in that way, to at least protect from a flank on that side. One thought, maybe as they develop a bit more, somebody in on lane 2 who's really good at quick flicks. That way you can at least protect from the Hescos that we're looking at here, or maybe the sandbags, to kind of mitigate a little bit more of that, and then be able to flank around them through hedges. Something to think about, something to contemplate and work on. But 36 minutes in, we are 2 points in on Suburbia with Middle House. Yet another cappable uplink. We have really not had the chance to actually get some more defensible uplinks out yet. The rounds just keep happening so fast. Let's see where Marsoc is going to spawn off here. Northwest corner.
Where's Justo? Where's Justo? Where's Justo?
What's Hall? Where's Rage?
Is this Justo?
Yeah.
And here's a break. It looks like we're going to see a 1v4 right off the bat. With all of Excommunicado rushing in on this building. I think I saw a flashlight on a gun there. Lane 1 is down. Everybody else is either on 2 or still all the way in the back. The C4 barely misses Sean. And they do get Zero Cool, who was looking for a down situation there. So we're at a 4v4. Talladega Knights is really going to have to figure out how they're going to approach this, especially with how Excommunicado is holding off the defense here in the building so well. Only one is out on the front porch, but it looks like we're going to see some playground action. And look at Rage. Their Rage is going right through the back door here, looking for any sort of angle they can get. Walks right into Yuri, and would have ultimately seen Seabass as well there, but they're looking for Justo, and does get taken out. So this is still a 3-3. This is a relatively even trade-off so far. Hooligans is also inside. Shonix right outside the back, but they're going to have to watch this angle here. Stranger Man is going to be able to see this. He can. Yuri as well. Down goes Duel, or down goes Shonix from Ghoul on the outside. Just not seeing where this angle was. We're now in a 1v3 with this uplink locked down.
Go for it.
A quick peek on this angle there, but oh, that nice little flashlight play there. Really preventing a couple of first steps from being utilized without actually getting blinded unless they put the tablet
Two
or
for
the
me.
gun in front of the eyes to get that there.
Two for you. Okay, that means there's one left. We go.
Looking for any little bit of an angle. There's a shoulder. Down goes Ghoul. 1v2 with 2 minutes remaining. Plenty of time. They just have to really kind of pick apart where everybody is inside this building. I think the best spot really would be down here. Might be able to see Stranger Man if they pop out. You can see the stairway peeking. Here's the wide angle of searches going on. Just under 2 minutes still remaining. They only have to get a couple of rounds in on a small angle on Stranger Man to at least open up that angle, and then have to worry about Yuri, which there's 2 bodies in the same spot. So they know that's a very deadly spot to hold. Stranger Man opting to not peek out after those shots. Very wise decision there, especially with that tight little angle being held. But still, does go right through the laser. Yuri does miss it. They're really looking for that particular spot on Stranger Man. And a trade at the end with Yuri only going down. Nicely done, nicely played, and to end that off there. While it was a trade, the kill did come in on Excommunicado's side first, giving them at that point. But that was very nicely played, trying to just pick apart the house with all those little angles that you can get. Excommunicado just rushed right into the center building, which, considering all they really needed to just defend it and to get points back on the board for this, was wise, and they held very tight angles. That did make it more of a problem for Talladega Knights to at least try to get in to the building and be safe. But the little hints of the bodies in the same spot didn't give a good position as to where Yuri was. So that way Justil could start picking them apart. The only thing that I think that Talladega Knights could have done a little bit differently to maybe give a bit of a favor was smoke it out or throw a frag grenade. If a frag grenade through the front door, the front window set here, likely would have taken out Yuri, or if it reached far enough back, it would have gotten Stranger Man. But smokes, with how the walls don't block volumetric smoke, that also would have helped at least obscure the vision to come in.
39.
Where we good?
Let's,
39.
sorry for the camera there. Stranger Man, the strong capper of the night, getting in first here. Here's the smoke that typically comes out with Excommunicado, making this a bit worrisome for them. Reed able to challenge it. They ultimately trade at the end of it all with all those rounds missing. Only down here. Seabass is going to get that revive. Still making this a 5 up, and Strong barely sneaks through with all the smoke. Up goes Stranger Man in the smoke. A TK in the first floor. Shonix defending it ultimately. And they have basically shut down Excommunicado's capping rush. Flashbang on Yuri does get them, and running into Sean X ultimately with Ghoul, the last one, just starting to pick them apart. It's a 1v1 now. Tablet's going back out. They're going for this cap, and they trade out ultimately in the end. Great defense from Talladega Knights. Great defense. With the amount of smoke they had there, every little bit counted for kills. And Excommunicado, I saw 1 TK. With how much smoke there was and how everybody was kind of crammed into basically the living room. That's excusable, in my opinion. Because, I mean, you're all tight there, you're all, like, amped up, you're all rushing in, trying to get something in on that cap. But continual cap attempts, just trying to get a tie on the board, ultimately did not work out well for them. So very well planned defense for Talladega Knights there. The only thing I think was really more on the critical point was Rage. Yeah, it was Rage who was on the front porch. Could have shot through earlier and identified the fact that they were in the building and at least gotten 2 kills there. Because it was Seabass and Stranger Man in the living room, first 2 people breaching that house. That would have been a 2 kill right away, and Excommunicado would have been cut down a little bit more, preventing that cap attempt a little bit faster. But they did trade out in the end, so, and they did win the round, so that does count in the book.
Or you killed something at least, right?
Yeah, me.
Oh, appreciate it.
Round number 5.
Well, we got
Playgrounds.
Hey,
Lots
Zero,
of
you used to be a
pre-fire.
bullet bag, man.
Oh,
Good.
yeah. A little bit of pre-fire, almost TK off the gate there. I don't think it's going to be as everybody is in the northwest spawn. 2 pushing in lane 1 and 2.
Bomb.
Oh, somebody dropped the smoke. Not good for Excommunicado there. They heavily rely on that. Seabass in an excellent position to catch them off guard. Just raining lead out as much as they can, seeing if they can clear out all the heads. They did a little bit of luck on the pre-fire. Zero's now in on the south with a refrag down here in the playground on the hedges of lane 3. 1 did die, 2 did die in lane 4, or 1 lane 4, another one in lane 2 from Marsoc. So everybody is now trying to reclaim territory from the middle here, with Zero finally going down after getting a bit peaky. Does eliminate the flanker for them. Sean X, oh, almost TKs there as well. Yuri, Stranger Man still holding tight. Seabass just sitting there looking for the cross angle. 3 minutes remaining. Plenty of time for Talladega Knights to actually get in and kind of start picking them apart, as they have done and demonstrated the capability of doing here. They got to get out of the center house in order to start being able to do that. Rage going to start crossing into Seabass and Rain. It does get hit. Not really sure where that came from, it looks like. Not the exact position. Down goes Sean behind them. And the callouts from Seabass do give away where exactly they are. Yuri looking to at least get a few rounds to the edges. Not going to see anything just yet, though. If Justilk had come in behind, they would have been able to at least get some rounds to scare Seabass, but this angle is going to be great. Start pre-firing these heads. You know they're in this area. Just Ilk coming in on the bushes. Stranger Man doing a tablet check here. It's not going to see anybody on their side. Stranger Man wrapping that up after Yuri goes down.
You die.
A little bit more fire, and they would have actually had Stranger Man coming out, but that was something they might not have been able to foresee happening. So Excommunicado gets another point on the board here. Talladega Knights now defending this uplink. Puts them in map 3 match point, or map 3 point range to at least wrap this map up. And guys, we're still only 15 minutes in and we're on map 3. So the way they approached it coming in from the northwest was pretty good. Zero Cool did at least put a little bit of a slowdown on that approach, but they kind of also just held in on the main center building, which, approaching all from the same angle isn't necessarily going to be the best way to pick the team apart, but at least you get the refrag chances. If somebody had come down on tank and maybe crouched and peeked this here, they would have at least seen Seabass on those Hescos. And Just Ilk not taking the pre-fire through the hedge opportunity, that would have at least cut down to a 2v2. But here we are, Excommunicado in capping range now for map 3, and Talladega Knights on game point for map 3 as well. Pre-fire coming out from the quick spawn is going to hit Just Ilk. Rage gets missed. Elphadox pushing forward on the tank, does get one on the jump here with 15 seconds from off the gate. And this leaves Zero Cool and Stranger looking for code. Nicely defended from Sean. Getting a little bit of a peek through the smoke here. In comes Zero Cool with a rush, and Excommunicado just not able to get that capping. Knowing they had the series, I think they were just trying to do cap practice on a team ultimately, because they really didn't go for kills in the last few rounds at all here. But we wrapped up in another hour. What is going on with the timing of this? Usually these are not so quick. Excommunicado showing us the strength of capping definitely does lend itself to some time saving there. But final points. Talladega Knights, welcome to VRML. Sorry you had to start off this way with a strong capping team. This is something you might have to encounter with other bronze teams as you do even out with the 3 matches you're going to play. Once you get those past 3, 4, 5 matches, you're going to be being tiered up against people who are a bit more in your bracket, so you can start building up what it looks like skill-wise to play in VRML competitively. Great defense on Suburbia. Great defense on Suburbia. You didn't really have much problem on that. Cargo and Bazaar. Bazaar, you had, I think it seemed to be a map knowledge thing, which is a learning point. Go back and find in an uplink, a private uplink on your own with the team, and find those capping points. Just walk around the map like nearby the uplink and find those capping points. That way you're aware as to where you need to defend, but also where you can attack from. Do the same thing for Cargo and Suburbia as well. Cargo, your Stranger Man just was able to walk right on in and get the caps off through smoke, which is a classic Excommunicado play. So when you encounter that, just start shooting through smoke. That way you at least can defend as best as you can. And you might actually get the kills. You don't really necessarily know until all the smoke dissipates or you win the round. But great job on Suburbia. Nice defense with, especially this last round, with everybody rushing right on in, and even in the middle house. Very nicely defended. Keep that kind of a thing up. Keep your morale up through it. Outside that, I don't have any other thoughts. That ended in 50 minutes on the dot. So with that, I'm going to sign off and go see my newborn. So thanks again for everybody stopping by. Give the Talladega Nights a warm welcome. Have a good night.